What happens when a legendary hitman crosses fists with the most feared underground fighter alive, on the chaotic, neon-lit battleground of Bourbon Street? This is not your average fight night. This is a storm. It was a humid New Orleans night, the kind where the air feels like molasses and the crowd is already drunk on jazz and cheap drink. Tourists stumbled between bars, beads flew through the air, and beneath the buzzing neon signs of Bourbon Street, two men stepped out of the shadows, not for celebration, but for war. John Wick, the myth. A name whispered in fear behind closed doors of the criminal underworld. Precise. Relentless. The man you send to kill the boogeyman. Across from him stood Yuri Boyka, the beast. A raw, explosive force from the underground fight pits of Eastern Europe. Brutal. Unforgiving. A man who believes that fighting is the ultimate form of prayer. The crowd didn't know what they were about to witness. But we did. Wick moved with the poise of a ghost, dressed in his signature black suit, his eyes scanning every inch of the alleyway behind the jazz club that had become their impromptu arena. No weapons. Just hands, bone, and blood. Boyka bounced on the balls of his feet, fists clenched, tattoos slick with sweat. He was smiling. This wasn't just another fight, it was a test. A war of ideologies. Wick was a tactician. His strength lay in precision, strategy, economy of movement. He could read his opponent like a map and exploit every weakness. But here's the thing about Wick, he's human. Wounded. Haunted. He carries his pain in silence, but that silence slows him down. Boyka? He was pain incarnate. What he lacked in finesse, he made up for in brute strength and feral intensity. A powerhouse of muscle, speed, and raw aggression. But his weakness? Ego. He fights to prove something, and that pride can blind him. The first blow was fast. Too fast. Wick sidestepped a spinning kick that would have decapitated a lesserman. He jabbed, light and fast, testing range, calculating. Boyka laughed, a low growl of satisfaction. He liked this. He liked being pushed. Wick's footwork was immaculate. Each step a calculation. Every strike a sentence in a deadly poem. But Boyka, he was chaos in motion. Muay Thai knees. Judo throws. Spinning back fists that came from nowhere. They were evenly matched, for now. This wasn't a ring. There were no rounds. Bourbon Street was the Coliseum, and the crowd was drunk and roaring. Boyka thrived on this. He thrived on being watched. He caught Wick with a body slam that shook the pavement. The hitman grunted, pain flashing through his ribs. For a moment, Boyka was on top, raining down blows like thunder. But Wick never stays down. He rolled, twisted, and locked Boyka's arm in a joint-splitting hold. The crowd gasped. Boyka screamed, not in pain, but rage. He broke the hold, roared, and threw a spinning heel kick that clipped Wick's jaw. Both men staggered. This was more than just a fight. Wick fights because he has to. Survival. Honor. A promise to a wife he lost. Each strike is a message to the world. I didn't want this, but you brought it to me. Boyka fights for redemption. For faith. For the belief that only through combat can he become a better man. They circled, both bleeding now. Wick's lip was split, Boyka's eye nearly swollen shut. They didn't speak. They didn't have to. Every hit was a sentence. Every counter was a prayer. Boyka went for the kill, his trademark triple combo, jab, elbow, flying knee. A move that had ended dozens of fights. But Wick had studied. He knew. He ducked, weaved, and, like a sniper in close quarters, delivered 3 shots to the liver, the ribs, the throat. Boyka stumbled. Wick stepped forward, not with fury, but with finality. A spinning wrist lock flipped Boyka to the ground. And just as the Russian fighter tried to rise, bam! A knee to the temple. Boyka lay motionless. Not unconscious, but finished. He coughed, wiped blood from his lips, and looked up at the man above him. There was no shame, only understanding. Wick didn't gloat. He didn't speak. He turned, disappeared into the New Orleans fog like a shadow slipping back into the night. Wick won not because he was stronger, but because he was calculated. Where Boyka came with fire, Wick brought cold precision. He absorbed pain, redirected aggression, and never lost control. He saw the fight like a chessboard, 5 moves ahead. Boyka's strength was overwhelming, his speed inhuman, but his pride made him predictable. He fought to dominate. Wick fought to survive. And in the end, survival always wins. Collision. This was the ultimate showdown, muscle versus mind, pride versus purpose. And if you thought this was insane, wait till you see the full video. Blood. Brilliance. Bourbon Street. Hit subscribe, because the fight world just changed forever.